So kind of want to ask you about the first 3 games of the road trip and what you want to sharpen up and clean up ahead of tonight.
Yeah, obviously we were not happy with the result first 2 games in our starts. I thought we did a good job last game, coming back and winning a game, and now we have a chance to finish the road trip 500, which makes it we're not satisfied with that, but better than anything. So we need points. We know how tight the standings are. That's our main focus. Have a good start again, and focus on that.
There was such an irony with the Schenn-Drouin trade, facing their former teams almost right away. Just what was it like to see Jonathan Drouin and kind of catch up a little bit and just those emotions reuniting?
Yeah. When you bring in a player, usually another player, good player, goes away. And I was close to Drew, and they'll stay a good friend. He was well liked in this locker room. We wish him the best, and we saw he scored at his first game at his start, and I think we're all happy for him, and wish the best for him and his family. And on the other side we got Schenner, and he's a great competitor. You can see he was the captain here, and he's got a lot of leadership. Plays extremely well on both sides of the puck. I think it's going to be nice for them to get that game out of the way right away. Sometime when you haven't faced your old team, it can go up into your head and into your mindset. So I think to get that game out of the way will be good for them.
You mentioned Schenn's leadership. How have you seen him already be a leader? I know that he took the lead in the circle after morning skate and practice. Just how is he already making an impact? Especially, I've seen Richie said he's been mentoring him off the bat.
Yeah, no, just the way he speaks. He has a lot of experience, and I think he's not afraid to speak up and to share it. You could even see yesterday on the power play, saying some little details to everyone to make sure everyone's on the same page. And I think that's what leaders do. They're not afraid to speak up when they need to. And he's been doing a great job so far at that.
When you reflect on your experience being traded from Ottawa to the Islanders, what was your emotions and thoughts when you faced your former team for the first time, like seeing the Senators for the first time?
Yeah, it's just it's just a little bit awkward. I would say you dress up in different locker room than you're used to. You play against some old friends, which is a feeling that's kind of weird, but you get used to it. And once the game starts, you get the flow of it, and it goes away.
Wall was telling us about the moment of getting traded, coming back into the building you're so used to, and taking it all in. He said he noticed you had that moment yesterday at practice. Just take us through your emotions today.
I don't even know how to describe it. Weird. It's just, you don't, when you get traded, you don't think it's going to happen that fast with everything. Just coming in and, a couple former teammates came over yesterday and playing mini sticks with my kids, and now you're facing them tonight. But the reality is it's going to be different for sure, and I got a job to do, and play those guys hard, and talk to them after.
When you reflect back on these 9 seasons with the Blues, just what are things that you're going to take for the rest of your journey, the rest of your career?
Where do I start with everything? Obviously, it's just first and foremost, it's an incredible place to play. The organization, the people, my teammates, a lot of good friends, not just from this team, but just for the whole time I've been here. The fans and the people of the community are extremely special. They're always there to help you out. They're always here to cheer you on, and it was just a great place to play for 9.5 years.
You've seen so many guys come back to St. Louis and get that moment with the fans, and they'll usually play a tribute. What do you think that's going to be like for you?
Yeah, I hope to get a good reception. Obviously, like I said before, that's what every player dreams of, or not dreams of, but hopes for anyways. And the fans were so good to me when I was here. I tried to come in with my time here, play the right way. I said it before, play for the guys that really have worn the jersey before me. It's been a great organization with a long history, with a lot of great players, and you feel like you owe it to them to go out there and put in your solid effort. Every night you wore the blue note, and I've had a lot of people in this organization and in the community that has helped me along the way.
Jenner, how tough was the call? Last year, obviously, it came close to going through. This year, you said yes. Tell us about the decision.
Yeah. Last year, We had good momentum building into the playoffs. They asked me, and obviously wasn't ready. Made the playoffs and worked out in that regard coming into this year. I don't think anyone thought the Blues were going to be kind of where they were for the majority of the year anyways. Obviously, they're playing better hockey as of late. But I said it to, JR a couple days ago. When you get asked 2 times in 2 years, the second one makes your decision a lot easier, I would say. Not because I didn't love the organization and the city and everything else. It's just, they felt like they needed to go in a different direction. And, me and Justin Falk were the guys out this year. And that's just the reality of the business, no hard feelings. It's just kind of what you're faced with, we're with the business and kind of, where they're heading in their direction. And I'm happy to be a part of this Islander organization. It's been unbelievable for a short amount of time. The guys have been extremely welcoming. Everyone around the organization has helped me out as much as they can, and it's not an easy transition moving mid-season with 3 kids and whatever else. But obviously the people around me have been trying to make it as easy as possible.
Patrick's talked a couple of times already about how you're starting to mentor Cal Ritchie, right? That sort of happened naturally. I'm sure you had a lot of relationships like that with the young guys with the Blues. Does that continue, or do they just become the opposition now?
Tonight they're the opposition, put it that way. The way I look at it, when I was young, I had lots of guys look after me. Danny Briere was a guy. Claude Giroux took me in, Scott Hartnell, Jake Voracek, Simmons, like the list goes, Chemo Team, and the list goes on. And then when I come here to St. Louis, there's a lot of guys that are in my corner helping me out. And then, when you're young in the league, you definitely need help. It's a man's game. It comes at you fast with, playing in the NHL. It's a tough league. So when I came to St. Louis, I felt like, I owed it to the next guy with, Jake Neighbors lived at my place, Jimmy Snugger lived at my place, and, all the young guys that are on the team this year. You help them as much as they want help. You don't have to be in their ear every day, but, if they ask you questions, you're always there to listen. You're always there for advice, because I felt like, people did that for me, and I don't think that job stops now. I'm playing with Cal, who's extremely talented. A high pick, a lot big with skill. You can tell he's just getting his feet wet in the NHL, and there's so much untapped potential in him, and I definitely see that.
Is there anything you do mentally preparing for this moment? It's not like you've done this in a while, but you just walk out on the ice for the first time.
There's not much you can do. It's been a crazy 4 days, 5 days. Not much sleep with everything that's going on, and then coming in here yesterday, like I said, I'm actually staying tonight after the game because we have 2 days off and not practicing tomorrow, so I'll fly out after. But driving my own car to the Enterprise Center as an opposition player, it's just like you wouldn't do that if it was a month away or a month down the road. But it just happened so fast where family and everyone's still here. And like I said, I'm an opposition player, kind of living a life as a Blue in a short amount of time. It's just kind of a weird thing that you would never really experience as an opposition player.
What did it mean to you to be a captain? You look at the list, the names there. As you get a chance now maybe to reflect a little bit, to have worn that C, what did that mean?
There's a tremendous honor. If you look in the Blues locker room, the list that's on that wall, you don't take those names lightly. There's Hall of Fame guys on there, guys that have had great careers, and most important, great people. I think when you leave the game, you want to be thought of as a guy that, your teammates remember you not as the player. No one remembers your goals and your assists and, what you did on the ice. It's how you were off the ice. And, relationships last forever just by being a good person, and you just try and be the best version of yourself and help people around you as much as you can. And, so I just kind of have had that motto mentally is be a good person, take care of people, and people will take care of you.
Is it a strange feeling to be in the visitor side of things, the facility, the locker room? And you know this place better than anyone?
Yeah, I haven't done it in a long time, and even then I was with Philly, so you didn't even do it that many times, being in that division. So haven't even really stepped foot in the opposition locker room, something that you never really do. So yeah, it's different. Even yesterday in practice, like we had a little 5-on-5 drill, and sitting on the opposing bench, it's just like everything's just backwards, of what you're used to. And like I said, I'm looking forward to tonight. It's going to be probably emotional, weird at the same time, but it's one of those things where it's almost you get it out of the way, and looking forward to the night.
Have you been able to chat with Jonathan Drouin at all
Yep.
about? I mean, as much as you can tell us, how was that exchange? Just talking about the different organizations.
Well, when I was, thinking even, taking over his rent in New York, and when I was in San Jose, same hotel, I'm leaving the meal room with the Blues where the guys were eating, and he's walking in, and we're talking, and we got traded for each other. It's a very bizarre situation where you never really, that doesn't happen to guys, 99% of the time, and we're just the two guys caught in the middle of it right now. I'm sure he has, guys speak extremely highly of him in the locker room in New York here, and I know he wasn't here that long, but just left an impact on, his teammates of how he was as a guy.
You mentioned how welcoming this team has been to you. When you get to take part in the tradition of being the guy in the center after a morning skate or a practice, just how meaningful is it that you're so well received right off the bat in your leadership, what you bring in?
Well, I think that speaks volume to the players and the culture that they've built here, in New York. It's been going on for a long time. It's always filled with great guys, great families, people around the organization, and you can just see right away how welcoming they are. And guys like Horvat and Lee and the leaders of this team, they're trying to make you feel as welcome as possible, and they're certainly doing a good job of it.
And how excited are you for the playoff push?
Yeah, that's what it's all about. Any NHL player will tell you it's all about competing, striving for the same goal. Trying to get into the playoffs, and then once you're in the playoffs, it's the best time. It's all eyes are glued in the hockey world on the TV of playoffs. It's competitive hockey. Fan bases are involved, and like I said, as a player, that's your best times as a hockey player is playing the playoffs.
Curious about what's the key to a good start tonight and ending the road trip on a high note?
Yeah, I mean it's going to be important to start tonight. I mean these guys won their last two games and expect them to have a good start, so we're going to want to match that. And again, there's some details in our game that's going to be very good. Example, breaking out and are coming into the zone, and hopefully that offensively, I mean we're going to create some good scoring chance and power play as well, so get some offense going as well.
I know everyone's talking about Brayden Schenn, but what do you feel like you lose without Jonathan Drouin? I know some players were catching up with him last night, today on the bench. He wasn't scoring for you guys, but you always praised his play.
Yeah, he played really well for us. I mean, he probably wanted to score more goals than he did, but I mean, he was doing a really nice job 5-on-5 and helping guys, like making plays and defending really well for us. And but hey, this is the business, isn't it? Sometimes you got to give something to get something, and we got a great leader. We got a player that plays center. I thought that was something we needed, and at the same time, I mean, he won the Stanley Cup, like I said before. So I'm sure tonight's going to be a very emotional game for him. I mean, I remember my first game back in Montreal. It was emotional. So I'm sure it's going to be the same thing for Schenner as well. And I'm sure he's going to get a really nice welcome from their fans. When you play a long time like this and that's so much success, and the team did really well win the Stanley Cup, I mean, there's a lot of great memories for anyone.
Rachel just asked you about, Rachel just asked about finishing this trip on a strong note. From those three California games, what maybe would you like to see a little more consistent?
Well, first of all, I mean, I'm sorry. The first thing is when I look at the schedule, after the Olympic break, we had 6 games on the road out of the next 7 games. So I mean, we understand that the road trip was important, and we did really well in Montreal and Columbus. Anaheim and LA might not have been our best games, But I thought we did a lot of good things in those games. And then I thought we had a really good game against San Jose. San Jose is a very good team, and they got a lot of skills. And, I mean, Celebrini is a phenomenal player. So, I mean, I thought we did a really good job. I mean, keeping them at the one-goal game and have that patience. And so I think we're going to have to do the same thing. I mean, the worst thing you can do is take for granted because these guys, I mean, doesn't have the season that they probably wish to have, but they're still a very good hockey team.
You're going to, I mean, more and more down the stretch, maybe you're going to face some teams that know they're out of the playoffs. You get to play, what's the phrase? They play free, right? And those can be very dangerous games, as history suggests. How do you get through those games where other?
I understand where you're going, but I'm not at the same place that you are.
Yeah.
I'm staying one game at a time. I'm not worried about what's going to happen in a week from now or 2 days from now. Focus on tonight, and tonight is the St. Louis game, and we play against a team that played really well the last 2 games. They were good in San Jose. Watched the game. They were really good also in Anaheim. I think they won 4-0, so they had another solid game. But, for us is to stay in the present moment. For us is to play the way we feel we have to play, and I feel like that's what needs to be done. And, again, it's going to be about the joy, the compassion, and be bold and be ready for those games.
With Cal Ritchie.
Just going to say, with Schenn, it's going to be an emotional night for him.
Yes.
And I'm sure you'll watch him. Will you play him more than maybe normal just because he's so full of energy?
No, I'm gonna go with. A lot of times you go with your feelings. Like if you see someone's playing really well, you give him more. If someone, nervous or whatever, you go different ways. But I mean, you adjust along the way.
With Cal Ritchie, you've talked about wanting him to improve on the wall and in battles. What goes into that, especially in the middle of a season where, it's not like he can go and bulk up the way he would, if you were saying go do that over the summer?
Cal is a very smart player. He understands the game very well, plays the game very well. The only part that we're working at, and I think that's the experience that he needs to get, is just the compete level. I mean, the physicality of the game. And I think he cannot have a better mentor than Brayden Schenn. I mean, that's exactly the type of player he is. So I feel like it's going to be good for Cal. And Cal is, like I said, such a good hockey player, great hands, great skills, sees the ice well, move the puck well. So, I mean, I feel like it's a great fit for him.
Talk about Schenn's leadership and with him kind of stepping in the middle of that player circle at the end of yesterday's practice, Saturday morning skate, mentoring Ritchie. Does it surprise you how receptive this team has been to, a new guy coming in and really receiving his leadership?
Yes and no. I'm saying yes because I mean I've been hearing so many things about him. I mean from different. Before making a trade, you're always asked question, and from different from former teammates or whatever it is. No, because I mean, you don't know the players. So I mean, at the same time, I mean, until you see it. So am I impressed so far? Yes, I am. I mean, I loved it. Like just yesterday, grab the power play guys, talk with the guys, or call, talking with Ritchie on the morning skate in San Jose. So this is pretty nice to see.